In the shadows, behind the everyday world, beyond the headlines and the seats of power, a hidden hand. A kind of company known as Providence. To it, we were just assets to use and throw away, to do the unthinkable, the unforgivable. And it never gave us a second thought. Until now. After decades in the shadows, we are fighting back. Me and 47.
Hi guys, we are back again with another review, and today we are gonna play Hitman 3. So Agent 47's unique brand of slow-paced stealth in an assortment of dense, deadly and deeply varied murder playgrounds has reached a whole new level with IO Interactive's Hitman 3. With some of the most surprising and imaginative levels in the series so far, Hitman 3 may feel largely familiar to its two most recent predecessors, but just thinking of the hours upon hours of chaos, carnage, and reinvention. This final chapter of IO's World of Assassination Trilogy that began with 2016's Hitman might be better thought of as an expansion rather than a sequel. Coming to the minimum system requirements for Hitman 3, you need an Intel Core i5-2500K or an AMD Phenom X4940 processor with 8 GB of RAM and an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 660 or a Radeon HD 7870 card. For maximum performance, you need at least an Intel Core i7-4790 or AMD Ryzen 5 3500X with 16 GB RAM and a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 or a AMD Radeon RX Vega 56 8 GB card. So this is Fenris Wolf on behalf of Gamer Overlord, and making myself and everything else clear, let's get started. Starting with the graphics, Hitman 3 definitely has improved its look in terms of textures and new scenery. Agent 47 and the world around him is enhanced by a new rendering technique of the Glacier engine, which is capable of putting more than 300 NPCs in a single zone. The lighting engine has clearly improved with the fluorescent lights in an underground German club looking fantastic. The levels look great even without ray tracing, enhanced by last minute addition of textures post-launch. Also, the most beautiful aspect visually is larger, more beautiful locations. You will wander China's neon streets and climb Golden Spire in Dubai and witness the best visual treat for a stealth-driven game like Hitman. For PC gamers, there is scope of adjustment regarding texture quality, level design, filtering, shadows, mirror reflections, and SSR. There are also additional options for variable rate shading, motion blur, and simulation quality as an added impetus. On a normal quad-core PC, you get a respectable 42 FPS, but there is problems when you switch to high physics scenes where there are drastic drops, and without hyper-threading, quad-core system experiences awful frame rates. With hyper-threading enabled, you get more a minimum of 34 FPS for high physics scenes and 87 FPS on average. Also, a good thing about Hitman 3 is that it does not require a high-end GPU, as most of the GPUs are able to offer constant 60 FPS at 1080p ultra settings, minding the fact that you have a 16 GB DDR4 RAM. Also, one extra thing to be noted is that the game runs exceptionally well in AMD GPUs such as the RX 580, which is both customer and fan friendly. Due to easy fidelity of graphic settings and plush outlook the game portrays, Hitman 3 earns a graphics score 9.5 on 10. Now coming to the campaign, Hitman 3 picks up after the end of the last game with Agent 47 revolting against his former employers, the International Contract Agency. IO Interactive has said that it considers certain assassinations to be the canonical endings for some of this trilogy's missions. That's never been more true than in Hitman 3, which occasionally signals that it wants you to make a particular decision and reinforces it with a cutscene afterward that follows directly from the choice in question. IO Interactive's entire trilogy touches on ideas of power, control, and self-determination. The group known in the game's fiction as Providence is a global cabal of elites who shape world events from behind the scenes. What happens when some of the blunt tools through this Providence wields its extraordinary power to gain an understanding of humanity forms the crux of the plot. This is, of course, a heady stuff for a video game that has been around for two whole decades, which alternates between operatic drama and goofy hijinks. The campaign is remarkable not just for its masterful level design, but also for the familiar elements of the series, which is skillfully intended based on Agent 47's perception. The motive for IO Interactive is to dismantle Providence once and for all, as they primarily were the cause for the whole melodrama in the misuse of power, which was the same case with respect to 2012's Hitman Absolution. The game also tries to bring out plot twists with respect to Diana as well, which almost connects all the Hitman games we have played thus far. The proper sequencing of the missions along with concluding the trilogy enables me to give the game a campaign score of 9 on 10. Moving on to gameplay and mechanics, Hitman 3 is more or less similar to its previous games, but I do notice that the game has become more classy in terms of stealth. It is largely based on the same foundation that IO Interactive built for its first two games. You can infiltrate exotic locations using your wits and cleverly obtain disguises to make your way towards your intended targets. Hitman 3 has 6 locations to explore that are Dubai, Dartmoor, UK, Berlin, Chongqing in China, Mendoza in Argentina, and Carpathian Mountains in Romania. In terms of executing opponents, there are certain innovative attributes added, such as poisoning a target or being creative by swapping out a normal golf ball with an exploding option. Agent 47 is also made so adept you can even knock an opponent down using a hard banana, and no, it's not for a meme material. Each level is filled with numerous ways to dispatch targets, rewarding you for playing stages more than once. Some of the assassinations are tied to the mission stories, while others are challenges that require you to go out your way to kill in a specific manner. Replaying levels and finding new ways to kill an increasing list of targets gives you experience and increases your mastery level. Higher mastery levels unlocks new rewards in each location, such as different starting locations, new gadgets, or alternate disguises. The thing about blending with locations is quite unique. Like in previous Hitman games, you had limitations with respect to weapon choices, but in this you can easily choose your weapon and it's all up to you how you approach each kill from there on. Like in Berlin, the mission begins with many of the hallmarks of Agent 47's kill style, with no plan and no gadgets to kick off the level. Beyond that, your targets are unknown and you must immerse yourself with that location, getting to know the back hallways, and only then you learn who your targets are and get on with your meticulous planning. The mechanics of Hitman 3 is most fluid compared to the other games in the trilogy because IO Interactive always gives importance to the stealth. The AI is pretty tweaked as well when it comes to silent executions, taking it closer to reality. Agent 47 quite easily blends in every environment, something we used to see in Hitman Blood Money and Hitman Absolution. By analyzing Hitman 3's smoothness with respect to blending in each environment and being a masterful killmonger in every way, I give a gameplay and mechanics score 9 on 10. Coming to sound, as always, Hitman 3 excels. Jesper Kid is back once again with the game music and he displays excellence. Vocal snippets add to the tension in what is an excellently styled piece to open the soundtrack. Initially, there was an audio issue when we started with the prologue, like audio stutter, cutting out, and audio skipping. For this to get fixed, I had to turn off spatial sound from my Windows settings to get it back on track. Even updating audio drivers for the same works well as a fix. Also, one disheartening aspect with respect to this is that you need your internet connected throughout when you play the single player, and if the game loses connection to the server, the audio stutter may arise again. The main menu soundtrack also is very much different, darker with more opera environment to gel with the game's unpredictable storyline. Tweaks with respect to sound contribute to the player's immersion and keeps the game's feel intact. The bullet sounds, kill immersions are all crystal clear if your sound device is powered by Dolby Atmos. For the immersive blending of sound, I give Hitman 3 a score of 9 on 10. Coming to the thrill quotient, I would be rather skeptical because you almost play the same kind of stealth in each Hitman game. I do agree that the World of Assassination saga is filled with an engaging storyline and is well sequenced, but it does surprise you in moments. The link with Providence and Agent 47 is not much relatable and you have to literally dig out that connection by drawing it out in a book and joining the loose strings left in other games. More a reason this game gives you a thrill factor is the variability of missions in each location. I mean, they have very well innovated that and made the broad picture more clear. Also, one thing you must not try to do is finishing the game in a huffy, cause Hitman 3 has fewer levels than the previous games but do have a replay value. Hitman 3 is the closest game you will get to travel in this pandemic, and it is the most fun you will have as a single player, as already January 2021 is pretty dried up with respect to single player games. Just make sure to play it from the beginning if you are a newcomer, especially since IO Interactive has overhauled the 2016 Hitman to the same fidelity. I give the game a thrill quotient score 9 on 10. So the final verdict for Hitman 3 is amazing. Hitman 3 is rich in its genre with high replay value, keeping its fundamentals intact and bringing a perfect end to a well-acclaimed deserving trilogy. I give Hitman 3 overall a score 9 on 10. So that's it from the video, guys. If you wish to watch more such reviews, I do request you all to like, share and subscribe, and make sure you click that bell icon. See you in the next review.